You feel it, don't you? That insidious, creeping numbness in your feet, the pins and needles that jolt you awake in the middle of the night, or worse, the sensation of walking on cotton, completely disconnected from the very ground beneath you. You've probably shrugged it off, or maybe your doctor told you it's just part of getting older. Perhaps you've even been handed a prescription for a nerve blocker and sent on your way. But what if I told you that advice, that dismissal, could be one of the most dangerous things you'll ever hear? What if I told you that your dying nerves aren't dead at all, but merely sleeping? What if I told you that you possess the hidden power to wake them up? Stay with me for the next 20 minutes, because what I'm about to reveal could fundamentally change how you experience life from the waist down for good. And trust me, you'll wish you knew this 20 years ago. Welcome back to our health community. I'm Dr. Stephen Andrews, and if you're over 60 and you found yourself clicking on this video, chances are you're experiencing something deeply frustrating and, frankly, a bit frightening. The loss of sensation in your feet and lower legs. It's that maddening tingling, a burning sensation that feels like your feet are on fire, or that profound numbness that makes you feel like you're walking on stilts. This isn't just a minor annoyance. It's a thief. It steals your confidence. It makes you afraid of falling, and eventually it steals your independence. For years, the conventional medical wisdom has been that nerve damage, what we call peripheral neuropathy, is an irreversible, progressive condition. It's treated like a one-way street toward a wheelchair. But my dear friends, that narrative is only half the story. It's the pessimistic half. Today we're going to dive deep into the empowering, hopeful, and scientifically backed truth about how you can naturally revive those dying nerves. I've worked with thousands of patients over my career, many just like you. I remember a patient named Eleanor. She was 72, a vibrant woman who loved to travel. She came to me devastated, describing her feet as blocks of wood. She'd been told by 3 different specialists to simply manage the pain. But Eleanor wasn't one to give up, and neither am I. Together, we embarked on a journey that, in just 4 months, had her not only walking comfortably but actually dancing at her granddaughter's wedding. How did she do it? Not through a miracle drug, but by understanding the biological truth. Nerves are designed to heal if you give them the right environment. You see, the term dying nerves is a bit of a misnomer in the vast majority of cases, especially those not caused by severe trauma or chemotherapy. Your nerves aren't truly dead. They are ischemic. That's a medical term meaning they are starved of oxygen and blood. Or they are compressed by inflammation. Think of it like a garden hose that's been stepped on. The water hasn't disappeared from the world, it's just stuck behind the kink. Our goal today isn't to resurrect the dead, but to unkink the hose and restore the vital flow of life back to those nerve fibers. Your peripheral nerves are the most incredible electrical wiring system in existence. They connect your brain to your toes. They carry messages, telling your muscles to move and telling your brain what you're feeling. These wires are protected by a fatty coating called the myelin sheath. When this coating is damaged by sugar, toxins, or lack of blood, the signals get distorted. This is why you feel phantom pains, or nothing at all. To fix this, we have to look at the body as a whole system. The first major culprit is poor circulation. Your nerves are among the most metabolically active tissues in your body. They are energy hogs. They need a constant, high-speed supply of oxygen and glucose delivered via blood flow. As we age, our microcirculation, the tiny hair-like capillaries that feed the nerves, can start to shut down. If these vessels are narrowed, your nerves literally suffocate. They don't die instantly. They go into a state of hibernation to save energy. This is often what people mistake for permanent death. Consider my patient Robert, a 68-year-old who loved gardening but had to stop because he couldn't feel the pedals of his tractor. He was convinced his nerves were gone. But when we looked at his vascular health, we realized his nerves were just starving. We focused heavily on improving his lower body circulation through specific movements and thermal therapy. Within weeks, the thaw began. He started feeling his toes again. It wasn't a miracle. It was biology. The second culprit is chronic, low-grade inflammation. Think of inflammation as a constant, smoldering fire inside your tissues. This fire slowly singes the myelin sheath of your nerves. This inflammation isn't usually caused by an injury. It's caused by what we eat, the stress we carry, and the environment we live in. If we don't put out the fire, the nerve can never repair itself. The third factor is what I call the building block crisis. Your nerves are constantly trying to repair themselves. It's what they are programmed to do, but they need specific raw materials to do it. Crucially, deficiencies in B vitamins, specifically B12, B1, and B6, along with vitamin D and certain antioxidants, act like a construction site that has run out of bricks. Many seniors are unknowingly deficient because as we get older, our stomachs become less efficient at absorbing these nutrients from food. I had a patient, Margaret, whose neuropathy was almost entirely due to a B12 deficiency that had been overlooked for 5 years. Once we corrected her levels, her permanent nerve damage began to reverse in weeks. The fourth factor is blood sugar. This is the big one. Even if you aren't diabetic, having blood sugar that stays on the high side of normal is like pouring syrup into your electrical panel. It causes a process called glycation, where sugar molecules stick to the proteins in your nerves and stiffen them. This leads to the classic burning sensation. And finally, we have the use it or lose it principle. Our nerves thrive on sensory input. If your feet are always encased in thick padded shoes and you rarely walk on uneven surfaces, the brain begins to prune those nerve connections because it thinks they aren't being used. It's like a muscle that atrophies when it's in a cast. So, how do we actually wake them up? We use a multi-pronged, natural strategy. Strategy number 1, we must supercharge your circulation. You don't need to join a gym. The most powerful tool for this is the calf pump. Your calf muscles are often called your second heart. Every time they contract, they squeeze blood back up toward your heart and force new oxygenated blood down into your feet. I want you to start doing seated calf raises while you're eating breakfast. Lift your heels as high as they will go, hold for a second, and drop them. Do this 50 times. It sounds like a lot, but it takes 2 minutes. Another incredible tool is the tennis ball therapy. Sit in a comfortable chair and place a tennis ball under the arch of your foot. Roll it from the heel to the toes with moderate pressure. This does 2 things. It physically pushes blood through the tissues, and it provides massive sensory data to the brain, force the brain to reconnect with those dormant nerves. My patient David used this every night while watching the news, and he credited this simple ball with helping him feel the floor again after years of numbness. Strategy number 2. We have to quench the internal fire of inflammation. This starts in the kitchen. You must become a label detective. High fructose corn syrup and hydrogenated oils are like gasoline for nerve inflammation. You want to replace them with what I call nerve fuels. These are foods high in omega-3 fatty acids. Think wild-caught salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds. Omega-3s are the primary building blocks of the nerve's protective coating. If you don't eat enough of them, your nerves are essentially naked and vulnerable to damage. Also consider turmeric. This golden spice contains curcumin, which is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories known to man. But here is the secret. You must take it with black pepper. The piperine in black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. I have many patients who drink a golden milk tea every night, and they report a significant reduction in that burning nerve pain. Strategy number 3. We must provide the neuronutrients. As I mentioned, vitamin B12 is the king of nerve health. But here's something your doctor might not have told you. Not all B12 is created equal. Most cheap supplements use cyanocobalamin. But for nerve repair, you want methylcobalamin. This is the active form that your body can actually use to rebuild the myelin sheath. In addition to B12, I highly recommend looking into alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA. This is a unique antioxidant that is both fat-soluble and water-soluble, meaning it can reach every part of the nerve cell. Clinical studies have shown that ALA can significantly reduce the pain and numbness associated with neuropathy by protecting the nerves from oxidative stress. It's like putting a protective shield around your wiring. Strategy number 4. We must balance the sugar load. Even if you love your sweets, you have to understand that every spike in blood sugar is a blow to your nerves. Try to eat your fiber first. If you eat a salad or some broccoli before you eat your main meal, the fiber creates a mesh in your gut that slows down the absorption of sugar, preventing the spike that damages your feet. This is a simple trick that allows you to enjoy life without sacrificing your nerve health. Strategy number 5. Sensory re-education. We need to tell your brain that your feet still exist. One of the best ways to do this is through texture therapy. Get 3 small containers. Fill one with smooth river stones, one with sand or dry beans, and one with a soft shag carpet remnant. For 5 minutes a day, sit and rub your bare feet over these different textures. It might feel like nothing at first, but keep doing it. You are sending signals up the spinal cord, knocking on the door of the brain, asking it to pay attention to your feet again. I also want to talk about the temperature contrast method. Take 2 basins of water. One should be warm, not hot, and the other should be cool. Dip your feet in the warm water for 3 minutes, then the cool water for 1 minute. Repeat this 3 times. This causes the blood vessels to rapidly dilate and constrict, which acts like a gym workout for your circulatory system. It forces blood into the tiny capillaries that haven't seen a good flow in years. Now, I know this sounds like a lot of work. You might be thinking, Dr. Andrews, I've had this for 10 years. Is it really possible for me? I want you to remember Eleanor. She didn't do all of this perfectly on day 1. She started with the calf raises. Then she added the B12. Then she started the tennis ball rolling. It's a cumulative effect. Nerve repair is slow. Nerves grow at a rate of about 1 millimeter per day. That's why you have to be patient. You didn't lose the feeling in your feet overnight, and you won't get it back overnight. But if you are consistent, the waking up process will happen. I want to speak directly to those of you who are feeling discouraged. Maybe you've tried everything and nothing worked. Often the reason natural treatments fail is because we only do one piece of the puzzle. If you take the vitamins, but don't fix the circulation, the vitamins can't get to the nerves. If you fix the circulation but stay inflamed, the new blood just brings more fire to the nerves. You have to address all 3: the flow, the fuel, and the fire. The flow is your circulation. The fuel is your nutrients and blood sugar. The fire is your inflammation. When you align these 3 things, your body's natural healing intelligence takes over. I've seen people who were told they would never drive again get back behind the wheel. I've seen grandfathers get back on the floor to play with their grandkids because they finally felt stable enough to get back up. This isn't just about foot health. This is about your life. It's about the freedom to go for a walk in the park without staring at your feet the whole time, terrified of a stray pebble. So, here is your action plan for this week. First, I want you to go to the store and get a tennis ball and some high-quality methyl B12. Second, I want you to start the calf raises today. Don't wait until tomorrow. Do 20 right now while you're finished with this video. Third, I want you to look at your next meal and ask, is this fuel for my nerves or gasoline for the fire? I'm so passionate about this because I see the look in my patient's eyes when the feeling starts to return. It's like a light bulb turning on in a dark room. It's a moment of pure hope, and I want that for you. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to other seniors who are struggling and feeling hopeless. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into senior health. And most importantly, share this with a friend. If you know someone who is shuffling when they walk or complaining about burning feet, send this to them. You might be the reason they get their mobility back. I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, what does your neuropathy feel like? Is it burning, numbness, or tingling? And which of these strategies are you going to try first? I read as many comments as I can because I care about your progress. You are not a diagnosis. You are not just getting old. You are a complex, beautiful, and healing-capable human being. Your nerves aren't dead. They're just waiting for you to wake them up. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm Dr. Stephen Andrews. Keep moving, keep nourishing, and keep believing in your body's ability to heal. I'll see you in the next video.